Good evening and welcome to this January 25th edition of Off the Map Live. I'm Ben Licata.
Hi, I'm Joe King.
Joe's going to be our co-host and guest this evening. Thanks for joining us. Our last show, we had a fine art special with Jeff Gogwe, Dan Marshall, and Gabe Leonard. I hope you got to check it out live. If not, go to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see it up there. If you go to tattoonow.com/YouTube, go to our channel and you can subscribe and see everything we've done in the last couple of years. There's a ton of stuff up there. On this show, we have, as I mentioned, Joe King. We'll be Skyping in with Cory Ferguson of Good Point Tattoos, and we spoke earlier with Hanu Mantra, and we'll be talking with him again. This show is brought to you by a couple sponsors. Artisan, Tattoo Cleanser and Aftercare. I would show you a logo, but I won't. Maybe next time.
Just imagine.
I'm going to put it on after. Waterloo Tattoo Storage. They're great. Joe, you have one.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
It's the best workstation I've used before. It's very focused on the tattooer and keeping everything where you need it, as well as sterile, and it's pretty much the best. Thanks, guys. And
Neotat rotary tattoo machines. They are bulletproof. Got any experience with those?
I also use Neotat machines, and
how fortunate!
They're pretty phenomenal. I love them.
I'm gonna have to get you to do ads every single time.
Every time, I'll just come in, pop in from the side. Hey guys, I think this, and then I'll evacuate.
Don't evacuate on the show. So that's our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring this to you. We love them. They've been with us from the beginning, and I hope they stick with us. We're going to talk a little bit about the Artist Retreat. Have you been yet?
No, this will be my first experience with the Artist Retreat.
I went to the last one. It's in Tamia, New Mexico. It's amazing. It's just art, no tattoo, days of art. What are you looking forward to most?
Aside from just the overall idea that I can get together with all the same people that I normally get together with and work for a weekend and not work for a weekend, like just the retreat side of it is really exciting. And then just collaborating with people. It's going to be awesome. It'll be awesome.
So if you've been considering going to the Artist Retreat, now is the time to get tickets. We gave away a ticket to someone on our last show, and we've got an Instagram contest going right now, and you can still enter. Go to our Instagram, tattoonow.com, and you can enter. We're going to be drawing a winner on February 2nd, Groundhog Day. February 2nd, Groundhog Day. February 2nd, Groundhog Day. And maybe you can win. But if not, we've got a few tickets still available. Get online at paradiseartistretreat.com and get yours. It's going to be beautiful. I had a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to going back again this year. So we'll be right back after this ad with Joe King. And then we'll bring up Cory, and we'll have a great little conversation. What do you think?
Awesome.
Cool. We'll be right back right after this.
My name is BJ Betts. Thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate it. My love for lettering has been like way before I even started tattooing. I'll try and like keep it a little simple as far as like terminology for fonts and lettering, because I'm going to cover everything that I can, I guess, cover. And yeah, I guess I'll take it from here.
Give me two good wheels and give me one good eye. Give me wide open spaces and clear blue skies. Two wheels and I'm never alone. A tank full of gas and I may never come home.
So I approach things in a pretty simple manner. When I'm laying out lettering, this is what I do. I start with a real loose sketch and just go on from there.
So all winter long, they eat canned soup, pickles from a jar, yeah, you know it's the truth.
So we're back, and we're here with Joe King. Joe King is a resident artist at Off the Map Tattoo Northeast. How long have you been with us?
3 years now.
3 years, and he hasn't run away yet.
Yeah, it's true. The winter keeps freezing me in, and I can't get away. I plan it, and then I forget every year.
You warm up just enough to start to get away, and then it's winter
we can
again.
do this. We've thawed out, and then it happens again. I love it. It's great.
Cool. A quick reminder to folks that are watching, please post up on your Instagram and Facebook about the show so we can get some more folks watching. And we want to share this with as many people as possible. So, your style of tattooing, how would you peg it?
I don't know.
Great.
It's a little all over the place.
Are you a new school tattooer?
No.
Do you only do tribal tattoos?
No, style's a little bit
Japanese?
of a weird thing. I will do Japanese tattoos and tribal tattoos. I try to be open to whatever clients ask me for. And I feel that if I pick a style in the modern sense of what we call a style, which tends to be more of a genre than anything else, then I'm limiting myself to what clients will think of me for. So I try to just let my style be the culmination of where I'm at currently. Right now, I really, really, really love illustrative, heavy black line work with different pen and ink techniques to map out the overall structure of my design. I love a lot of geometric stuff in my artwork, whether it be very obvious circles and triangles or more of an overall geometric flow to things.
What led you to your interest in geometric stuff?
That started probably when I started getting into meditation as just a way to relieve stress, which is an enormous rabbit hole of information. Then as I started getting into researching different things like the yantra design, the little triangular red, usually red and white and black Indian design, and then the meanings of things and really exploring those concepts, I basically just got lost in it. And all my artwork started having more geometric designs. My tattooing, it took a little while because I felt like people would be hesitant because it didn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like I came from a street shop atmosphere, and tattoos were objects and things.
Right.
Circles and squares didn't fit into that very well, and normally they didn't want anything to do with people that wanted stuff like that. So
right, they're looking for a skull or a snake or
exactly,
a dagger. Or
it took me a while to get the confidence to feel like people might be into that, you know, and fortunately now everybody's pretty much into that, so it's great.
Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of proliferation in geometric designs and black designs. Why do you think that's come into such popularity?
That's a really tough one. I genuinely have no idea. I definitely feel like as far as the visual world around us, artists kind of shape that. And for a very long time, it seems like, especially as an American, art became very graphic and commercial, or it was extremely realistic and hyper realistic. If not, you couldn't tell the difference that it was a photo or a painting
Sure.
or whatever. And then tattooing went in that same direction. So, I mean, to me, the logical flip to that is, well, now we just want to see basic shapes.
Pull it
and
all the
how
way
those
back.
work. Yeah, in this, the world working in cycles.
So, I know you travel a bit.
Yes.
We recently together we just went to Venice and Florence and Trieste. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience? I mean, I can chime in here and there.
Yeah, you definitely.
I was
know.
there, but
Yeah.
they weren't there.
I absolutely loved Italy. Everything about it, the food, the people, the places. I mean, we would be completely enamored in just, let's get lost in the city for a little bit, because every corner that you would turn around would be something more gorgeous than the last. And yeah, it was awesome.
Being able to just walk out any door and walk in any direction and be entertained
Yeah.
or interested or drawn into the architecture or anything. It was,
Yeah.
we were over there for the Worldwide Tattoo Conference, and we went to a couple other conferences doing live interviews and whatnot. I know you were working the Worldwide Tattoo Conference, but did you get to experience any of the seminars? Did you get to pay attention?
Yeah, I felt like I did. A couple I had seen before, so it was nice to hear them a couple years later, and to basically just have more knowledge and understanding or wisdom or however you want to word it, and hear those same talks again or those same concepts and see if they resonated different. And almost every time they did, because it's just valuable information, and that's what it does. It grows and evolves with you.
Do you think it's important for tattooers or even artists to participate in professional development or continuing education?
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the only thing that separates it from just becoming a job. Any phenomenal musician will tell you that for them to stay passionate about their instrument, they need to make it new and exciting and different. So you always have to explore, or you're just regurgitating. I feel that that's pivotal to be able to stay relevant in the creative world.
So, like I said, we went to the Florence Convention, then to Worldwide Tattoo Conference, and then we went up to Trieste, just not too far from our other shop in Cervignano. You got to tattoo Alyssa Brunelli's hand.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Yeah, it was terrifying. It was very, very bizarre. There were so many combinations of strange things there, from tattooing Alyssa, who, if you're not aware, is the queen photographer of the Suicide Girls, as well as the queen of Hell City. She's Dirk Morrison's
significant
wife. So just that influence alone was a little heavy, and not to mention I'm adding or closing off a full sleeve that I've had nothing to do with, and it's gorgeous. And then the circle of peers that were standing and watching me do this tattoo, like Ron Earhart and Joe Capobianco and Stefano.
At the very end of our 11-day European vacation.
Honestly, it was a really beautiful experience. I was being able to finish it with getting to do that tattoo was exactly what I wanted and needed. I felt so fired up and alive from just the experience of the trip itself, on top of the Worldwide Tattoo Conference and the information that was there. It's just an energetic sort of thing, as anybody would expect.
Sure.
So being able to immediately apply that energy to a tattoo that to me had some sort of significance was awesome.
It was great. It came out beautiful, and I'll make sure that I get it into the replay. So you guys want to see this tattoo, make sure you check out the replay, and I'll make sure I get it into this conversation so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. So we're going to be talking with Cory Ferguson. You know Cory.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll bring him up after we go to a quick commercial break, and we'll chat with Cory, and feel free to ask him questions, and I'll ask him questions, and you guys in the chat room can ask some questions too. And
ask us questions. Bring it.
We will give you answers if we have them. So when we come back from this commercial, we'll be here with Cory Ferguson.
Traffic? Still not booking appointments? Is your web designer missing in action? well, now there's hope. Tattoonow.com. We work on all levels, from artists just starting out to professional tattooers of exceptional influence.
My name's Gabe Ripley. I founded Tattoonow.com well over 10 years ago at this point. Ultimately, at the core of what we do is power websites and mobile apps. What we do is allow the artists to do the easy part, which is upload their portfolio, update their news or their blog, and then we use our special programming to distribute that content on multiple websites throughout the internet and mobile app universe.
Tattoonow creates high-traffic websites specifically for the tattoo industry. My name is Brian Kopthite. I've been working for Tattoonow since 2009. I am the primary salesperson and marketer for Tattoonow. Tattoonow-powered websites create new clientele and new revenue for artists that are new, established artists, or established studios. We'll help to get you booked up for a month doing just the tattoos that you want to do.
And that's where your friend can't build one as good as us. That's all we do is build websites for tattooers every day. But what we have at Tattoonow really can't be matched by any other company.
Updating a Tattoonow website is very simple. If you can do social media, you can update to Tattoonow. Do that 24/7. You can go home at the end of the night, and you have done a great tattoo, and you're excited about it. You update that tattoo. It goes instantly to your website, it goes to your profile page, it goes to the iPhone app. It's what Tattoonow is all about.
You know, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And if you look at the statistics and the amount of traffic that we're able to provide and the amount of clients that we're able to attract, no one can touch us.
Hello and welcome back to the show. Cory, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. Hey, it's good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you guys too.
That beard is
to
putting
be
me to
back.
shame.
Yeah?
I'm embarrassed.
Oh, shit. You know,
How did you do
not too far off.
I swear I didn't see you that long ago and you didn't have that monster.
Yeah, it's been growing since April.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's coming along. Thanks.
So
Really
what's
growing
new?
beard, so I was like, well, let's see what happens.
It's the power of the Canadian winter. It just forces
It is. We need this thing up here.
What you been up to? I haven't seen you in a while.
What am I? Lots of traveling last year. Did a whole lot of shows and stuff. Right now I'm just getting ready to go to Hawaii in a couple weeks and doing my thing at the shop here at home.
So,
And, it's been good.
How was the Calgary show?
Calgary was awesome, as always. That's such a great show. It's like the Canadian Hell City. It's by far the best show in this country, for sure.
Joe and I got to see Steve Peace's face while we were in Italy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
cool. Nice.
Yeah, it looks so
Right on.
great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's pretty badass.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one. Lots of pressure, too, like you were just talking about. I was watching the show before I plugged in here with you guys. That kind of pressure, yeah, Steve's one of those dudes, too.
He's slightly an intimidating dude, too. He can come off very intense. He's so nice, but he's just, you see him from across a room. He's a very intense looking guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I've known him for a long time. I don't get that part of it, but yeah.
He doesn't smile much. Well, I mean, he does, but he likes to look like a badass. He told me that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I like to look tough in my booth.
While he wears his Christina Aguilera shirt.
It's true. He does like to wear.
Yeah,
it.
totally.
So we're here to talk a little bit about black work, geometric design, something you were quite familiar with. What led you into that style that you've been working in?
I guess at this point, it was fairly early on in my career. I guess I've been tattooing for almost 15 years now. I've been probably doing that stuff for let's say 13. Pretty soon into my career when I went to England, I got to work with some of the best black work artists over there, and I was exposed to it, and I just really took to it.
Who are you working with over there?
I was working with Thomas at Bugs' shop, and then around that scene at the time, like Tom Super was working a couple doors down, literally half a block away, and we would go over and hang out with Zed, and just that whole crew was sort of, everyone was around at that time. It was pretty fun.
Hey, so Cory, you use the Neo-Tat as well.
Yep.
Is there a reason you settled on that for your particular style?
Just out of all the ones I had tried, that one works the best.
Yeah.
It's the most consistent, it's the most simple, and after that, it was like, this just works exactly how I want it to work. I haven't really even barely tried much else since then, since I got that. I don't feel the need. Like, it's like, it just works so well. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. So I'm stoked on it. Like, it's perfect. Exactly what I need. It's consistent. Every time I pull it out, it's the same. You know, I've got a bunch of them now, so I can like leave some in the States or wherever I'm going, and when I show up to use them, and you know, 8 months later I haven't touched them, they're perfect. They work exactly like they did the last time I touched them.
Yeah.
So they're just everything I've always wanted in a tattoo machine. They're the shit.
You find that to be true as well, Joe?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's tried and true until it works no more. It's awesome, and I still haven't come to the end of mine. I mean, I've got one I've been using almost every day for a year and a half, and there's no change.
Yeah. I have a ton, but I usually end up just using the same ones.
Yeah.
Over and over again, or you know, for a while, for like a good year or whatever. I'll use the same two pretty much every day or whatever, and yeah, they're awesome. Yeah.
So, Cory, do you take on new clients often? Or are you working on things in progress?
I do. I take on new clients all the time.
What's the process?
How I'm running my schedule.
What's the process for a potential new client? What do they have to go through to get in touch?
Like how I take on clients is always evolving. I'm always trying to figure out what's a good way to do this. You know, how to not get too far out and all that. Like when I got to a point where I hit about a year, instead of going past a year, I had head, and like that wasn't good for anybody. Like I didn't like it. So I had some advice from some other tattooers and stuff on how to do it, and a lot of people were saying they only book about 3 months at a time. I was like, how could you possibly do that? But then I just started figuring it out. I stopped taking clients for a while, for almost 8-9 months, nothing. And then so I got to the point where I could be about 3 months ahead. And that's where I'm at now. So how I pick stuff is I just get people to email stuff, their ideas, some reference pictures, and then I just choose from there. So you got to say a lot of stuff, but you get to cherry pick the ones that you're super excited about.
Right.
And you don't have to wait a year to start them. You can start them in the next few months or whatever. So, you know, if somebody sends me that right idea or something that totally interests me, I'll take it on and I'll get to start it.
Yeah, and that's always going to add a lot of value to the client too. You know, if they can stay excited and get their tattoo in a reasonable amount of time, as opposed to having to wait that year.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the downside, is you got to say no to so many people and whatever, they're bummed out. But what can you do, right? You can't tattoo everything that comes in and asks. Otherwise, you just end up being
burned out and miserable.
Exactly what you wanted to, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at. I want to tattoo exactly what I want to tattoo.
So when you're working on designs, layouts, do you use computer at all, ever, or are you doing everything on paper?
No, I do a lot of computer stuff. I'm not laying out the sleeve or anything itself, or the tattoo itself on the computer, but I'm creating my patterns usually on the computer now. So I'll do that, and then once it comes to as far as like the layout of the actual tattoo, that's usually I'll like sketch it out on paper a little bit, like a thumbnail or a little bigger, and then so I've got an idea, and then when they get there, I'm just drawing it on with markers for the layout, and then stenciling on the patterns or mandalas or whatever is going into it. And so,
what are you using to create your patterns? Well, like software wise, what do you find?
A whole bunch of different stuff. I got right now probably maybe 7 or 8 different programs that I use, all different ones, everything from apps to Photoshop. I don't know. I'm always finding new stuff. I'm always searching for that stuff too. Just searching for pattern makers and things like that. So I'm not going to say what they are here because I'd rather people find out themselves.
That's totally cool.
Because not that I'm threatened or trying to be secretive, but there's so many people getting into dot work now. I'd like to see people find their own way of it. If I tell them exactly the ones that I'm using, their pattern's going to look just like mine.
And fuck that.
That kind of thing. So I want to see everyone come to it on their own and then see how it looks different. I want to see different dot work, right? I don't want to see the same stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense. And I don't think anyone would ever hold that against you. Have you done any more books since you made the mandala book?
I haven't, no. I kind of started the preliminary stages of my next one.
Uh-huh. Is that something you enjoy doing? I know it must be a lot of work.
I do enjoy it, yeah. Yeah, I do. The first one was a lot of work. The first one was back when I was doing everything on paper. So I didn't use a computer for any of the designing of that book. Everything was straight up like pencil and ink on paper kind of thing. So doing 100 of the mandalas that way That took a long time. That was like, it was quite a while. Some of the mandalas in there took me 5 or 6 hours for one of them.
Oh yeah.
Not all of them were that bad, but some of them were. So it took a long ass time. Now that I've switched, I can do it a little better. But now I've set my sights higher. So I think my next one, I don't even know if I want to say it.
I know Joe's been using technology recently to speed up his design process as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to mix in as much of anything as possible. I mean, not using it just seems like it's like you're saying, oh, well, I don't use rulers. I can draw a straight enough line. Like, there's always ways to move faster through the design process. I mean, at the end of the day, you've still got to tattoo it. So I want all the rest of it to go smooth and quickly.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why spend 8 hours working on something at home before you tattoo it if you can get the same thing done in one?
Yeah. Yeah. While I have my coffee in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So your portfolio contains a lot of hand tattoos and face tattoos.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, obviously, you don't find that to be an issue. Do people ever give you a hard time about it? Do they look at it as irresponsible or controversial at all?
I've never had anyone say that to me yet. No, not at all. No. I'm not doing them on like the 18-year-old who comes in for his first tattoo. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Most people I'm doing them on are tattoo artists or people with a shit ton of tattoos. I'm pretty moral in that sense. Like I don't do like visible tattoos on people that don't have a lot or are very young. Mm-hmm. But luckily, But I do a ton of hands and stuff like that. Yeah, I love that shit. I love doing hands. That's probably my favorite spot. Hands, like right across all 4 fingers, all that kind of stuff. I love it. Yeah, so I did a ton last year, and then this year I think I did a lot of heads and faces.
What do you like about hand tattoos so much? What's the most satisfying parts of that for you?
Because it's like an uncharted territory, like a little bit. You're seeing it a little more now, but like when I first started laying across patterns across like all 4 fingers and shit like that, like across all the breaks and all the ridges and everything, like I hadn't really seen a lot of stuff like that. So it was like, I remember the first couple, I was like, I wonder if I could do this. Like, I wonder if this is possible. And then I just kind of ran with that, where it's like, I love being able to look at it at the end and seeing the pattern, go right across all 4, even through all the lumps and breaks, and still look like the same, the patterns, still see the lines in it and everything else. So it was definitely fun that way. It feels like it was a little bit of uncharted territory there. And they look badass.
They do look they look super badass.
Yeah, it's cool,
Yeah.
All 4 fingers, fucking, yeah.
Joe, you've done some full palms down the fingers.
Yeah,
What are some of the challenges when you're working there?
Aside from people being able to sit still, everything. Like I feel like the hardest thing about the palm is all those little cracks and pores and that just get filled with ink. So like I always have to be very careful about like not pushing ink into the rest of the design before I can like get it committed to the skin. I really enjoy doing them though. They're a lot of fun. I agree. Like just that the look of it is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
definitely the palms are a lot trickier than the back of the hand.
Oh yeah. The back of the hand.
It's like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
It's its own set of problems. It's tough to do, for sure.
I feel like I get asked to do palms more than I do the top of the hand now. I don't know why. I haven't even been pushing the palm really, but I guess not enough people do them. So if they see one you've done, then everybody knows you to be the palm guy. But
exactly. Yeah. As soon as you do a couple, then you're the palm guy. Yeah. Every convention now, I get asked for like 3 or 4.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You're a pretty accomplished portrait tattooer as well, and I know you don't really tell people that much, but
yeah, that's true. What? Keep that on the down low. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna make sure I tell everyone all the time. If you want a portrait, Cory Ferguson.
He's your man.
The reason I bring it up is because it's so different from what you're doing. Like a soft black and gray portrait is so much different than bold geometric lines. How did you make that choice, like to work in the geometric style?
Like in the beginning, I did everything. Mm-hmm. I was like a street shop guy, so I had to do everything. And I was, even to this day, for the most part, you can kind of get to a point in your career where you narrow it down to something. But I think at the beginning, for most people, they should you know, there's going to be exceptions, but for the most part, if you're going to call yourself a tattooer, you should generally be able to handle any tattoo that walks in the door. You know, like I take pride in that. It's like at the beginning, especially, I was like, no matter what it was, I had to figure out how to do it. So I did that for the first couple of years before I found black work. And then even then, it was still quite a few years before I had pretty much whittled out all the color and everything else and just do black work. You know, I was doing maybe mostly black work or maybe like a certain percentage. But so for a long time, I did all kinds of tattoos. So
Why do you think?
that was one of them.
Why do you think there's been such a growth in popularity in geometric and specifically black work tattoos?
Because they're awesome. I don't know. I think at first it was just they were so rare. You know, no one had really seen them, so nobody would even think to get one. So they just slowly got out there more and more in the magazines and now on the internet and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's such a great style. It works so well. It lasts so long. You know, like the black and dots and all that, they age so nicely. It really is like a great style for the medium of tattooing. So now that it's out there, it's totally caught on. It's crazy to see how much it's exploded.
Yeah, I see more and more and more all the time.
Yeah.
So you do quite a bit of traveling, right? I mean, you travel quite a bit.
Fair bit.
What are some of the things you enjoy about traveling? And when you travel to conventions, do you find time to get outside of a convention hall at all?
Yeah, now I really try to make a point to. I've definitely done shows in the past where you showed up in town, you saw the convention hall in your hotel, and then you left town. And then you feel left feeling kind of bummed, like, oh, I didn't really get to check out that town. That was kind of a waste, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of the grand scheme of your life, like, when am I going to be back over in this little town in Holland again? So now I really try not to do that. I end up doing a lot of the same shows every year, so it's not like every show I have to go to do sightseeing. But if I'm in a new place, I'll definitely at least take a day or two minimum to go and check out that place. Yeah. It's equally about, for me, it's equally about seeing new places as well as like going and tattooing.
Are you into hiking and outside stuff, nature, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons I came out to East Hampton, because I heard there was some good hiking out there and real nature. So I'm like, all right, I'll come and check it out. I'll take the dog on some hikes and stuff. So yeah, totally. If some place has wicked hiking, that's like, I'm sold. I'll come there for sure.
As you know, we're going to be doing a Black Work weekend, which you're going to be a part of. Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
And we're planning a field trip to the Peace Pagoda, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
If you've never been there, it's the hiking is amazing. It's a beautiful temple, Buddhist temple.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that place.
It's great. You can choose to answer this or not. Have you ever tattooed outside of a tattoo shop?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. That's pretty well documented. Yeah, I've got a bunch of my videos on Instagram about it. I love it. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things too. Is like I'm trying to build up a portfolio of weird places I've tattooed. So like I did a few in Hawaii last year. I did a couple tattoos like up on a mountain, just overlooking like the ocean, and you know, there was whales jumping out of the water, and you could see like an old extinct volcano in the distance. Like that was incredible. That was my best tattoo experience for sure.
And I
did one on the Grand Canyon this year.
You doing mostly hand poke stuff when you're outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not bringing a car battery with you or anything, right?
No, not at all. That'd take all the fun out of it.
Right.
Too much trouble. No, it's like super punk rock. You can just pull up anywhere, and just tattoo out of like, this amount that you could fit in a small bag. You could fit what you need to do a very rudimentary tattoo. So. What
do you enjoy about being out in the great outdoors and tattooing? What do you like about it? What draws you to that?
The experience, the overall experience of it. It's so cool. It's the most beautiful place. You're sitting there just enjoying the hell out of nature and getting a tattoo at the same time. It's like merging two of my favorite things. And I mean, it's just such a rad thing. It's so rare. It's such a unique experience. How many people can say they got tattooed like 10 feet from the edge of the Grand Canyon or something like that? Yeah. So just a unique life experience. And mixing that in with tattooing, to me, that's like, doesn't get much better. Those are.
Do you have any advice for? Do you have any advice for an experienced tattooer that might want to try that kind of thing? And I mean experienced tattooer.
Yeah. Any advice?
I'm asking for Joe.
Are you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I totally want to get into that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. There's nothing crazy to know, right? Like it's what you think it is. You got to bring like just the minimal amount, and it's obviously you're not going to be unsterile about it. It's the same thing as the shop. It's just as sterile, pretty much. It's just I've got my gloves, I've got my bottle bags on the bottle, and all that kind of stuff. But there's so much other shit that you don't need, so it's so much simpler.
Yeah.
You can bring a small amount of stuff and still be working, off of clean stuff, in a clean place. So, just get your little kit together, figure out what you're going to need to do a tattoo, and find a cool spot. Some of the spots are like, I don't know if people are going to come and kick us out. Like, even to places where like it's kind of like super secretive. Yeah, you're like, oh man, I hope nobody calls the cops, or like if somebody sees what we're doing, they're going to be all weirded out. Like, what the fuck are those people doing over there? But that's part of the fun of it too. It's like kind of outlaw, You're being sneaky and you're hiding away in this beautiful spot and hoping that nobody calls the police or wherever you happen to be, security guard or something. But yeah, find an awesome spot that you're really inspired by and get your little kit together and go out there and do it. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah, sounds excellent.
And if you can, bring someone with you to photograph it, because that's a huge thing too for me. Is I like to have like some of those epic pictures.
Yeah.
Of you doing what you love out there somewhere cool. So like the Grand Canyon, we couldn't figure out anyone. There was no one that would. It all ended up falling through. We didn't have anyone to take the pictures, so it was just me and the person I was tattooing. So I was like taping my phone to trees and all this stuff, and like setting it on timelines. Or I had a GoPro as well. So between the two of them, I managed to get some stuff, but it still wasn't brilliant. Like the photos I was able to capture, not as good. When we were up on the mountain, I did have a friend that was able to photograph it all for us, so we got some really incredible pictures, some panoramics, and
nice.
So that's probably the best tip I could give you.
That sounds badass.
Bring someone to photograph it if that's what you want, because it's pretty cool.
So what are some of your upcoming travel plans for the coming year?
Coming up, I'm going to Hawaii in a few weeks. I'll be there for 3 weeks. Maybe do some more of that outdoor tattooing somewhere. And then what? I've got a lot of Canadian shows mostly. Unfortunately, one of my favorite Canadian shows lands on the same weekend as Hell City, the first one. So
dang.
I'm going to the Canadian one. It's one of Steve Peace's shows, the Edmonton show.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same weekend as Hell City. And I kind of signed up for like a head-to-head challenge thing at Edmonton. So I'm committed to Edmonton. So I won't be doing Hell City, unfortunately.
Well, we'll miss
but
you
I will
there.
be doing the Phoenix one. I'll do Phoenix for sure, because that's going to be my 40th birthday. So I'm definitely stoked to be in Phoenix for that. That's going to be really fun.
Yeah, epic pool party.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that'll be cool. What do I got going on next year? A bunch of Canadian shows and Hell City, Phoenix. I think that's all that I'm really like totally cemented into yet, and the Blackwork weekend.
Right on, man.
So
there's some great hiking in Phoenix if you can handle the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get up early, you can there's some pretty cool spots to hike, but
nice.
It gets hot real fast.
Yeah, I did a little desert hiking last year after Phoenix with the Neotap people. I went and hung out with them for a couple of days and got to see their warehouse and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah, took on a couple hikes because they're also big hikers. I think that was one other thing we bonded about.
Cool.
Yeah, so I definitely want to do some more desert hiking. For sure.
You got any more questions for him?
Nothing I can think of. I get to see you soon, so we can talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Hanging out at the Blackbird weekend.
I think that'll be fun.
See who else we can muster up to come and hang out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you travel with a little dog.
Yeah.
Earl.
Yeah, I bring Earl pretty much most of my shows. If I'm not flying, I take the dog for sure.
Is it difficult traveling with a pet?
No, because
so
he
rad.
has no bark, right? For one, he's really small. Two, he's got no voice. He can't bark. He was just born that way. I didn't have it removed or anything. But and so I can just even sneak him into hotels that don't take dogs. So yeah, he comes along. He loves road trips. He's good for driving around and hanging out.
He's pretty much an awesome dog.
Yeah, he's pretty rad. Yeah.
Did you put him on a
Yeah, I
plane?
love taking him around. It's fun.
Does he fly?
He hasn't flown yet.
Uh-huh.
He will probably fly to Phoenix.
Right on.
That'll probably be his first flying experience, I think.
I think he'll fit under the seat pretty easily.
Yeah, totally.
He's not,
Yeah,
he's not huge.
for sure.
Well, hey, Cory, thanks for talking with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's always good talking with you. And
Yeah, you guys too. Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll see you soon. Sorry, I'm gonna miss you at the Hell City Columbus, but I'll
Hell
definitely
City, yeah.
I'll definitely
Yeah,
be
me
in
too.
Phoenix for your birthday.
Awesome. All right, the big 4-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing some interviews on stage there, so
Oh, nice.
it should be a good time.
Yeah, Phoenix is always fun.
All right, man. Well, hey, like I said, thanks for talking with us, and I hope to have you back sometime soon.
Awesome. Great talking to you guys.
All right.
All right, thanks,
Have a great
Cory.
night.
Yeah, you guys too. Take care.
Well, everyone, that was the always awesome Cory Ferguson. We're going to take a quick break. Now would be a great time for you to get out your phones, head over to Instagram, and enter the Paradise Artist Retreat ticket giveaway. You got a couple days left. We're going to be pulling the winner Tuesday, I think. Tuesday? Maybe a week from Tuesday. I don't remember. Anyway, get out there right now during this break. Get yourself entered in the contest, and we will be back with Hanu Mantra. And we've got Tattoo of the Day and the network news with the always hilarious Rebecca Hanlon. We'll see you on the other side of this commercial break.
Hi, my name is Gary Shepard. I'm one of the owners here at Addictive Nature Tattoo Studio. I met with one of the reps at the Pacific Ink and Art Expo out in Hawaii. That's when I actually got hooked up with a lot more of the product. I started using it, being able to actually notice more what it does during the tattoo procedure. We all have noticed the same thing, that the redness and the swelling goes out of the tattoo, that while you're doing color or white, the highlights and the colors actually are a lot brighter after the tattoo procedure. And basically we've all said the same thing, that it's a real good product to use during the tattoo procedure and after.
So I was doing a little bit of research, and I saw that you left home. You left England as a young adult and went to Australia.
Yeah.
What precipitated that move?
I don't know. I suppose I kind of always had this desire to travel. Honestly, that was the big thing. I wanted to be out and experiencing stuff, whatever that was. You know, I suppose at that age I didn't really know what I wanted to experience. I just wanted to experience something. You know, like I started saving for the trip when I was maybe, I don't know, I had a paper round for a while, but I probably started saving for it when I was maybe 13, 14. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to surf. That was it. That were the two big things. I wanted to travel and I wanted to surf. I'd never surfed before, I don't think. I just had it in my head, like it was, if you like, it was like a calling. You know, I wanted to go and do it. So I wanted to go to Sydney. You know, I'd seen it on pictures. I'd kind of had a picture of the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. You know, I had one of those in my bedroom.
Sure.
It was just somewhere that was like, it was a destination I needed to get to. So yeah, I did my, we have A levels over here. I don't know what that would translate to for you guys. You know, academically, it's when you know, I left when I was 17.
So, yeah, it's like high school here, you know.
Okay, yeah. So I finished that. I didn't even collect my results. You know, I was on the next plane I could get. The day after my exam, I was on the next plane I could get. So I didn't even collect the results for them exams. I was just out there, and kind of that was like the start of. I suppose that gave me the confidence, you know, to build on that and go and just travel and really have the confidence to put myself in situations or environments that were foreign to me, and know that I could survive there, and not just survive, but I could, you know, like over there I made a life for myself, and you know, it was a really positive move.
What were you doing for work when you got there? Were you just bumming around? I mean, how did you survive?
Yeah, well, when I got there, I've been working for the past few years, like just saving up. So I went over there and I had a bit of money. I paid for my flights and stuff, and I had some money put away.
Oh, good.
But then when I got there, I started working on a building site. I was a brickies labourer, and then I held down two jobs for a while. I was working in a bar on a Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday evening. Working through. And I bought myself a camper van and then toured around. But yeah, like mainly a bricklayer's labourer. It's good work, you know. I still love it. I love doing that sort of work now. I think there's something intrinsically valuable to a person in doing that sort of work, because at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I could work with it, like maybe in the virtual world or with computers too much. I think for me, you know, there's like a pile of bricks here. I need them bricks moving from here over to here. So go do that. Right. You know, and I can do that all day. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to feel tired. I'm going to be sweaty. But I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go, man, like, look at, I moved that from there to there. And I feel like there's a sense of accomplishment there. So I don't know, even now, you know, I love manual work. I mean, I worked in the trades for a while. I worked as an electrician for a while. And again, with bricklayers, I worked as a labourer for a long time. And yeah, you know, like even now, if I'm in the garden, I love doing stuff in the garden. Whether that's cutting down trees, planting stuff, but even watering stuff. Whatever I've got to do in the garden, I like doing that. Same in the house. I'm very hands-on in the house. So I guess I like that sort of work where where I feel like there's an intrinsic value. You know, like it makes people feel good.
Do you think of the style of tattooing that you do as more of a trade, a craft, as opposed to like an art? You know, do you translate that?
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? I mean, I'm aware that there's people that they're very protective over what they deem as to what they do. You know, like some people are like, yeah, you know, I'm an artist and this is what I do. And some people are like, oh, you know, I'm a tradesman or whatever. Honestly, how I see it, I suppose the way I see it is we're craftsmen, you know, we're craftsmen, we're tradesmen or whatever. It's, you know, we're working with our hands, you know, we're working with our hands and we're creating something. Whether it's an art or not, it depends on the individual. It's how you apply yourself to something, whether something is art. I mean, again, let's go back to like a bricklaying. I've seen people that throw a wall up and it looks fucking terrible, you know. On the flip side, I've seen people who lay bricks and it's a, you know, for want of a better, it's a work of art. So they're not an artist because of what they do. They're an artist because of the way, kind of what they accomplish in the way they do it. So I think in terms of tattooing and any style or genre of tattooing, it's not about the craft itself. It's about the person, the individual, and how they apply themselves. Sure. And I suppose what they strive for would determine whether it's an art or whether they're an artist, I suppose.
So let's back up a little bit. You were in Australia, living in a van, surfing. How did that turn into tattooing? What led you to that path?
Well, I suppose. Well, interesting enough, I got my first tattoo while I was out there, and that was an interesting experience. I still kind of have the tattoo. It's covered somewhat, but it's still there. You can still see it. It's still under what's there. And I got that tattoo when I was down in Melbourne in a place called the Tattoonow Ranges. It's a beautiful part of the world. And I had like a cousin that was there, so I travelled down and saw him. And he was actually working. He still works as a tattooer actually in Melbourne, and he was working at a studio there. But it was like a biker run studio. Sure. He was the apprentice. He was running packets of coke back and forth to sit. He was just he was the guy that was carting their drugs around. I got tattooed on a York weightlifting bench.
Oh, nice.
Classic. Bench, and guys are just they're doing blow and stuff, and it's funny. It's still it was my first tattoo. It was my first experience, and I still love it. And there's an element of, I suppose now, I'm surrounded by very professional people.
Sure. A little bit of that edge and danger, or it's not as prevalent as it was before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe it is, and maybe I'm just not subjected to it.
Right.
I don't know. For me, it's I don't really see that anymore. So I don't know if that goes on. But it was my first experience, and like I say, I wouldn't change it either because it felt, I suppose, it felt kind of like on the edge a little bit. It wasn't super safe. It wasn't like all glitzy and stuff. It was you can sit on a weight bench and let me just get going here. And So anyway, so. That kind of that started me that was my first personal experience, and that started me on my journey, I suppose, kind of with tattooing. It was a piece it was a piece I designed myself, and all this sort of stuff. And from there, I instantly, I kind of knew I was going to end up with a lot more tattoos. I mean, and I grew up and my dad's got tattoos. He's got them on his arms and stuff, and so from there, I eventually. I got a few other bits and pieces as I went along, but then kind of committed to a big kind of rib piece, side piece from Joe Harrison in Birmingham.
Uh-huh.
And
I'm familiar.
And so, yeah, right. So I ended up meeting up with Joe, and it was an interesting time. And from there, we kind of developed a relationship, and that was really my entrance into the higher end, the high end of tattooing, not just kind of walking in or a street shop or
Sure.
whatever, this was something more, something that I hadn't really experienced before. And it was through Joe that I got that kind of.
What was the time span between the first tattoo and then this rib panel? How long did you wait?
It was a few years maybe.
Uh-huh.
Something like that, I would say.
It's quite a transition to go from a biker shop to getting tattooed by Joe.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm one of these people. I'm 2 feet in or 2 feet out. There's no moderation, and it's a gift and a curse, honestly. It's great in some ways because I've become so obsessed and I can just indulge into something, and that's all I'll talk about, think about, live it, breathe it, everything. That can be at the detriment of other things, or I'm just not into something. I'm like, oh yeah, cool,
sure.
Whatever. So I suppose, like I say, that as soon as I had that first tattoo, I was like, oh, man, this is, I really like how this looks. I'm really, I'm all about that. So I did start looking okay, and like I say, I collected a few other little pieces, but I started looking then outside of, I was back in the UK for a little bit. I started looking outside of my immediate location and thought, well, what do I want? And I actually walked into a store in Birmingham where she was working at the time. I walked into a store and there was a guy that had a really nice tattoo on his arm. So I just asked him, where'd you get it from? And he said, Joe Harrison Modern Body Art. So I headed down the road and went and booked in with her that day. I mean, I didn't get tattooed that day. I sat on a waiting list for however long. I can't remember what it was then. But I was down. I put my name down the waiting list that day. Left a deposit. I was like, yeah, cool. Like, let me know as soon as you got some time. We'll come in. We'll sort something out. So yeah, that's how that happened.
So, what do you find so inspiring about black work? Why have you gotten to a point where that's all you do, and so much black? It's like huge, large fields of black. How did you get to there?
Yeah, I guess I've got this, being like, as I was with Joe, and that was kind of, like I say, that was my introduction. And so I guess I was like surrounded by people that were doing like maybe color work or realism or neo-traditional. There was a lot of like that kind of work was what I was seeing a lot of. And I can have this tendency to be a bit like a stick in the mud a little bit, like I get drawn to going against the grain a little bit, and so the more intricate and feminine and delicate stuff I was seeing, the more I was like I want to go bigger and heavier, and more like, it really kind of made me push in that way. Again, I have a huge appreciation for what those guys and girls do at that end of the spectrum. Again, a lot of my influences come from people who have worked at that end of the spectrum. But it certainly made me push the other way. And then, so that kind of, that's not what made me want to do it. What that did is that made me, I suppose, start looking, my focus was drawn that way. And then, I see kind of like, traditional tribal tattoos, if you like, like I spent time over in New Zealand, and, honestly, it blew me away when I see stuff like, even now, I still constantly get blown away. I mean, there's guys that I see that are over in New Zealand, and they're not like superstars or anything like tattoos or anything, but they do something, and I see it, and I'm like, fuck, that's, I mean, again, I don't do traditional stuff. It wouldn't feel authentic for me to do that, but I still look at it, and I look at it and I just go, wow. So I started seeing more of that, and I noticed that with that work, it was less about what you tattooed. I suppose the focus is no longer on the tattoo. The focus is on the person, and I really like that. I like the way that, even though I was looking at the tattoo, I was looking at what the tattoo was, kind of thing. What really made it work was how it fit on that person, how it made, what the fit was, what the flow was, how they'd, use certain shapes to complement or contrast against where it was sitting. So that really, that kind of really drew me in, and I love the fact that the tattoo kind of took a secondary role to that person. At least that was my interpretation of it, and that's kind of what I endeavor to do. Even when I use like large areas of black, I really try and hope that it looks, like that. Like when you look at them, you see that person before you kind of see the tattoo almost. I've
been looking at a lot of your the photos that you've posted online over the last few years or whatever, and they make more sense now that you say that, because most of your photos aren't of just the tattoo. Here we're always looking for tattoo photos for different things that we do, marketing and things, and most of yours aren't just a shot of the tattoo. They're a shot of a person with their tattoo. Yeah. So now those photos make a lot more sense.
And that's it, and exactly. So the way that's the way I approach my design, the way I approach the tattoo when I draw it on, the way I approach the photography when it's finished, and that's an intentional, an intentional move on my part. Is like, when I take a photo, I don't just want to say like, here's the guy's forearm, look, and also in context, like if I show, let's say someone gets a 5-inch square tattoo on their forearm. If I show that on one of my pictures, it's probably just going to be black. So there's an element of that, the scale. But then also, it is about how it looks on that person, and not, I suppose, if as a tattooer, if I just take a picture of my tattoo, the focus is just on the tattoo, and that's essentially me saying, look what I can do. And so it feels like maybe a little more ego-driven when it's, and not there's anything wrong with that. Again, I don't.
Well, I mean, that ego-driven sense is pretty prevalent, especially in anyone who's who you see today working. There's plenty of tattooers that aren't, but anyone that's out there, making their name known it's pretty ego driven.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll black out the entire person completely and just show the tattoo.
Yeah, I mean, well, and this is it. It's like, and it's not like a one end or the other, I suppose. Like we all fit on there somewhere. Like, I mean, I have an Instagram. I have like those things for for various reasons. And on some level, I mean, I'd like to think not, but you've got to be realistic about it. On some level, there will be the ego will be involved in that to some degree.
Well, even a bricklayer's got a sign on the side of his truck. He's still got to.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still got to work.
Yeah. And that's not about, like, again, I mean, that's kind of a good thing as well, because you want to know that whoever's doing the work for you, they have to put their name to that, like, that's a good thing, I suppose. But again, going back to the photography point of it, and like I say, how it comes down to my tattoos is it's about putting more of the focus on that person and not so much about what I like. Of course, I suppose the secondary focus is the tattoo that I've just done. So I'm also saying, look, this is what I've done, of course, but I do try and incorporate the person so that the main feature of the photo would be that person. However, it's like whether it's like the angle I've done it at, or the part of the body I'm missing or using, whatever. It's there, and it's kind of the primary focus is that person, and then there's their tattoo. And it's the same, like even like with with photography, say with obviously I just use black ink and skin, so that's it. So with such a limited palette, what happens is the ink I put in to someone's skin is only as important as the ink I leave, really. As the skin I leave, so a big thing becomes about, like, for want of better, like the dead space, the kind of stuff that I leave behind, the areas that I leave behind are absolutely as important as the ink I put in, which is, I mean, I'm just thinking now, which is probably almost exclusively relevant to kind of black work and that kind of traditional tribal, I suppose, because anything else, maybe with like black and grey, like shaded work where you shade into the skin, I'm not sure, but it's certainly not as important as when you've just got solid areas of black.
When you just have positive and negative, like that's it. That's all. It's very it's very binary. It's like,
it is. It's absolutely a binary way of tattooing. So I suppose I take the same approach with my photography. When the kind of the angle suits or the piece suits, it's like what I don't photograph is as important as what I do photograph. Yeah. So you make sense. So everything, like I say, everything that my approach is, I suppose my philosophy, it permeates every aspect of what I do. Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about why you chose the Hanu Mantra as a name to go by?
Yeah, sure. So, I kind of felt like I never really felt like I fit into my my original name. It always felt like I always kind of felt like I outgrew it a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I still use it now, but I just don't. It's not a name that resonates with me. So I used to do a lot of Muay Thai. I used to do a lot of kickboxing and Muay Thai, and over in Thailand, it's Hanuman is used for protection. He's you see him in a lot of fighters. They have him on their chest, and he's used to protect them. You go to Thailand. I spent a lot of time over there training, and when you go there, they have a very kind of, their view on tattooing is that it will provide protection. Not like, oh, it might do, or it might, like, it provides protection. I mean, of course, there's always going to be people that don't believe that over there, but a lot of the guys, they believe that. So yeah, you'll see it like a Hanuman tattooed on people, and they truly believe it provides them with protection. So I suppose I kind of, I have a Hanuman tattooed on me, and again, I think that's the thing with tattoo. A tattoo is just ink under the skin, if that's what you want it to be. It all comes down to kind of personal belief. If you believe something enough, then I believe that if you do that, you can make it a reality. So if Yeah. So if you believe that your tattoo has like an element of protection, then you will, it's just the way you will then conduct yourself, how you will handle yourself. You will be more protected in certain situations because of how you feel inside. And so, yeah, so I really saw that side of it. So anyway, going back to your initial question, the Hanuman for protection, and then mantra, you know, a mantra is like a phrase that, you know, you repeat, and it's like that self, like I suppose self-actuating it, you make your own reality with it. So I've used mantras my whole life, you know, mainly for training, you know, with the training I used to do. I used to train like 5 nights a week.
And you've been training in martial arts since you were a child, right?
Yeah, since I was a kid. And in that arena, you learn to break yourself and then how to make yourself. And when you go through them processes of breaking yourself down, you know, for me personally, I find like having mantras, having something that I could repeat over and over, you know, would get me through something. You know, it worked for me. It really worked for me. So I just kind of spliced two words together, Hanu Mantra. And again, I wanted something that had a positive vibe, a strong vibe, something that the right people on the right frequency could tune into, and they would get it. You know, and even if they didn't understand on an intellectual level, or you know, on a, sorry, that's the wrong word, intellectual level. If they didn't understand like a mental level, like they didn't literally know what it broke down to mean, there would be something in the way it sounds that would make them go
like on an academic level, almost like they didn't.
Academic.
Yes,
there we go.
sure.
There's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
They're showing a lack of intelligence, talking about intelligence. There's some irony for you. Yeah. So yeah, and then a surname. You know, again, as we touched on it earlier on, is I moved to Australia to go and be by the ocean to surf, and I actually chose the second name when I was in Australia, in Manly, Lamar, which is you know, it translates as the ocean. So yeah, that's where that comes from. And again, like I say, it's not necessarily like maybe a lot of people wouldn't break it down and wouldn't know exactly, oh, this is what it means. But I do believe that words carry something, you know, about the, you know, the meaning of a word carries something, even if you don't necessarily know the meaning. There's a weight to it that someone can vibe with. Yeah, I'll keep a memo.
So who are some of your influences, your tattoo influences these days?
Okay. So, well, yeah. No, to be honest with you, in terms of where like I say, so Joe gave me opened the door, if you like, and with Joe, she taught me a lot of things that I can't really put into words. You know, they're the intangibles, if you like, the things that you learn. You know, like she's been tattooing 20 years. You know, the things that you learn that from that length of time that you could never put it into words. You just witness it as you're around those people. You know, whether it's the way they work, you know, whatever it is. So Joe did that. And introduced me to a lot of people, and to be honest with you, I've been, you know, so I got tattooed, and then I got tattooed by Thomas Hooper, who does kind of more like, I mean, I'm sure most people know who Thomas Hooper is anyway, who does more kind of like maybe dot work pattern stuff, but he you know, he'd worked at like London's Into You back in the day, and obviously worked with the guys like Alex Binney and Curly, and guys like that, you know, who again, Alex has been tattooing 20-something years, same with Curly. And honestly, like, I mean, I still see Curly's work now, and it's fucking incredible. You know, he's still doing great work. And so those guys definitely had like a part to play in they created like this scene, if you like, that certainly in London anyway, that I'm sure will have had, you know, untold effects on me, or you know, drawn me towards it. And then I got tattooed by John Dix, who again is working within that realm, if you like. So, but you know, their work is what it is. It's quite different to mine, you know. And then a big kind of influence in my work, not in terms of look again, but would be Jeff. You know, when I go over and I got tattooed by Jeff, and then I've tattooed Jeff, and we you know worked on various things, and again, just one of those guys. It's the intangibles. It's the intangible. Sorry, it's the unsaid, untold things that I really got and still continue to get from Jeff.
Do you get out? You get out to see him much? Do you get out there very often?
Yeah, I see. Like he was at London this year, and we shared an apartment. Me, him, and Joe, and and I see him. Like maybe I come out to Grants Pass a couple of times a year. I come out there and I work, and I was getting worked on by Jeff, but I'm out there again. I'm out there again this time. This year. I'm not sure when. I haven't confirmed it yet. And Jess asked me to do like a presentation type thing where I can, a lot of the things that we spoke about. I think he kind of
philosophy and life philosophy kind of
type
thing.
Yeah, like an approach to kind of. I mean, he said just like an approach to life, tattooing, and art.
Right.
And kind of wants me to elaborate on that. I've got to like run over the finer details with him. He approached me about it a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Yeah, I'm down to do that." So that's something that's coming up, and I'll be over in Grants Pass doing that. I would imagine it'd be summertime.
Yeah.
That's something I'm looking forward to. To go back to your initial question, by the way, I just want to about who inspires me, because then there was all those guys and Joe, they've all inspired me and pushed me into an area. Where I was more receptive, like we said, to kind of heavier black, and it got me to that, into that kind of vicinity of work. And then I suppose there was one person's work in particular who continuously, like and it was over a course of years, I just would see see bits popping up here or there, and every time it would kind of draw me in, and again, probably in terms of how my work looks and the weight. I mean, we do work on a different weight ratio actually from black to skin, but that type of thing. And that's Jun Matsui. So he's a Brazilian Japanese guy. Dad was Japanese, mother was Brazilian. Lived in Brazil, moved to Japan, and he did a lot over in Japan. Moved back to Brazil. I don't know, maybe when 2006, say. And has been working there since in Sao Paulo. Very, very elusive character, difficult to get hold of. I wanted to get tattooed by him for so long, man. And I tried. I tried to like fucking email or tried, whatever it was. I could try sending him messages on Instagram or Facebook or nothing. So I eventually, I managed to. I knew that he was friendly with Horiyoshi. And I know Alex Renke, Hori Kitsune, who obviously apprenticed under Horiyoshi. So I spoke to Alex. Alex sent an email over to Jun. Jun finally got back to Alex, and so I got to go over there. And I got tattooed a couple of years, maybe 2 years ago or something. And again, and Jun is probably the one that's had the biggest, or not probably, he is the guy that's had the biggest influence in terms of how my work looks. And what I endeavour to achieve with what I do.
Did you change at all after you got tattooed by him? Did it change your path?
I would say so. It was. I mean, it didn't at the time. I didn't want to go over there and be too cerebral with it. I really didn't want to overthink things. I didn't want to. I kind of really just wanted to go over there and experience, if that makes sense. I didn't want to be like.
You didn't want to analyze and pick apart and.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted it to be a much more like an organic experience, I suppose, and just see what happened type thing. So I suppose it was more upon reflection that I appreciated what I took from it. And kind of when I'd had a few weeks to kind of digest, the experience and kind of his approach and his kind of philosophy, if you like, because he's been tattooing for like 20 something years now. So there's an element of like wisdom and knowledge that comes with that honestly you can't bypass. I can understand certain things on a level, on a maybe an intellectual level or something, but there's a level there's a deeper level that you can't quite get to. It's just time served. And that's the same in everything, I mean, I feel like I spent so long within martial arts and training and competing and being at that kind of that level and for so long that a lot of the lessons that I see a lot of people making or learning in tattooing, and they haven't been doing it for so long or whatever, and they're learning these lessons. They're transferable. Like the lessons I learned through training in martial arts, they're exactly the same lessons, and those lessons are transferable through anything else in life, really. So yeah,
great. Well, hey, thanks for talking with me, man.
Ben, it's been a pleasure, mate.
And enjoy your evening. And
I will.
I'll talk to you in person sometime soon.
Excellent. I look forward to it, mate.
All right, man. See you.
Thank you again for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
From Tattoonow World Headquarters in East Hampton, Massachusetts, this is Tattoonow Network News with Rebecca Hanlon.
Oh, hello, everybody. Do you know what these glasses mean? These glasses mean that the Paradise Artist Retreat is right around the corner, and it is about time to have some fun. I hope you guys are ready. Have you gotten your ticket yet? I certainly hope so, because they're like flying off the shelves. It's time to solidify your plans, especially all you people in the Northeast right now, because we are about to get slammed with about like 3 feet of snow. So maybe over the next couple days you can take some time and plan your trip while you're stuck inside, cold, and looking out the window at all the snow. So go to www.paradiseartistretreat.com and purchase your ticket. Check out the awesome lineup of people that are going to be there, like Chet Zar, Jeff Gogwe, Guy Aitchison. It's a great list of people. We certainly hope to see you there. And I mean, how can you pass up like a couple beautiful days in paradise? Maybe you can get yourself a little drink with an umbrella. I mean, sounds like a great time to me. If you are kind of a little bit worried about the financial aspect of going on a trip like that, we are giving away a ticket because we're feeling generous, and this is going to be an awesome event and we want you to be there. So hop on one of our social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook and follow the guidelines on the little Instagram share image that you see over to the side there. All you have to do is repost #PAR ticket and follow and tag Off the Map Tattoo and Tattoonow.com. If you feel like you don't really need to wait to win that free ticket, really, hop on now. Go for it. What's holding you back? Just have a great time. All right, everybody. Next up, a really wonderful thing coming out of the Northwest at Off the Map Tattoo in Grants Pass is going to be an art and tattoo show featuring 2 of the new artists that are tattooing there. Haley Gogwe and Nick LeBrun are going to be showcasing their art and tattoos, and it's going to be a great time. Everyone through the door is going to get a $25 ticket. They are going to possibly be entered into a raffle to win a $250 gift certificate towards their next tattoo. And you could be one of these winners. There's going to be a bunch of prizes. Why not go check out some art, check out some great up-and-coming tattooers that are getting their start at Off the Map out there. It's going to be a great event that is going to be held on Friday the 13th of February at 7 o'clock. And don't be scared. Come on out. It's going to be a good time. Latest updates on the Tattoonow website are 3 new webcasts that we put up there. They're going to be live webcast events happening a little bit in the future, but planning ahead's a good thing, especially when these events are going to be so wonderful with such great people. First up for me to tell you about is one with Adam Guy Hayes. And he's going to be sharing all sorts of information with you about how to really take your art to the next level, how to go beyond flash, how to just, refine your style and get out there. So that's going to be great. That is going to be on June 28th, and you should hop on to the Tattoonow website and check out the description and learn a little bit more about what that's going to entail, because it's going to be a really good one. So mark your calendars. Next one, Ralph Nonweiler is going to be doing a black and gray webcast, and it's going to be really wonderful. The date is to be announced. We really want to keep you on the edge of your seats. So check back on the website for more information. It's going to be coming out soon, so stay up to date. Hop on there. Check it out. Next up, going off of that one, is going to be a live webcast with Bob Tyrell, Black and Gray Master. This time, he's going to be doing a dog tattoo. Who doesn't love remembering a good pet? Check out that adorable little Cocker Spaniel in the corner. Bob is going to do an awesome job. So feel free to hop onto the website, secure your ticket now by going to www.tattoonow.com/professional-development. Go for it. Check it out. A little highlight from one of the Tattoonow clients is a awesome news post that Lucky Bamboo put up recently. News is a really important part of the website that we run. You know, gives people a chance to stay up to date with everything that's going on in the tattoo world. So I liked this news post the best as of recently because it really outlined a lot of great stuff that maybe people overlook when they're first getting tattoos. I know a lot of you out there have been tattooed a whole bunch, and this is stuff you don't really need to think about. But if you're going into this shop for the first time and you maybe didn't get a good night's sleep, or you didn't drink enough water, or you didn't eat well, it's going to affect you. And it's not only going to affect you, but it's going to affect your tattooer. So I urge you to go on to the luckybambootattoo.com website and read the news post. You know, there's a lot of good information. They did a good job putting this together. And also stay tuned because we are currently working on a brand new website for them, and it's going to be awesome. But before that launches, hop on there, check out the news post. It's good stuff. Going off of that, like I was saying, news is really important. It connects all of us. There's all sorts of things going on in the tattoo world, and it's really important for you to get your stuff out there. Whether it's you highlighting an event that you're doing, like the one that's going on at Off the Map Grants Pass, or, you know, a really rockin' tattoo you just did and you want to share, you know, the story behind it, or you want to do all sorts of stuff to get people to check out your work. It's really important. So I just want to urge you guys to get your stuff out there. Write a news post. It doesn't have to be too long. It doesn't have to be an essay. Just keep everybody in the loop. I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff going on at your shop, or with you as an individual artist. And this is a great resource. And the more content you generate, the more eyes that are going to be on your work. So we urge you to just post up, maybe once a week, maybe more. Depends on, you know, how fancy you're feeling. So I look forward to seeing some of your news items because I can feature them on this little segment like I did with Lucky Bamboo. So another important part about our website is the ability to upload pictures. There are amazing pictures that are floating around out there. I'm super impressed with all the things that we're seeing coming through, and I'm extra impressed with images that are of really high quality, like large image files, because it makes my work for the Tattoonow mini magazine a little bit easier. I can only feature high-res images in here, and people really like seeing stuff in print. As much as Instagram is really awesome and it gets things out there really quickly, stuff like this has lasting power. People are going to see your tattoos for longer if you upload high quality stuff and they get into print. So think about it. Think about maybe putting your iPhone aside for a second and investing in a camera that can get some really high quality shots. I think it's going to be beneficial for your work, and it will be great to see your latest and greatest tattoo featured in the next edition of this magazine that's coming out soon. All right, that's all I have for you tonight. You guys are great. The show is great. All of our guests have been wonderful. And next up, we're going to give you a little bit of a snapshot of some of the best tattoos we've seen in the past couple weeks since you've seen us last. So enjoy the next segment of the Tattoo of the Day, and I look forward to seeing you guys in paradise.
Welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed the network news. I know I did. And I hope you liked that snazzy new intro. She made it worth it, right? It was good. I liked it. And Tattoo of the Day. So for you tattooers out there, if you want to see your work up there, upload your best work to Tattoonow. People will vote on it, and the best ones will show up right here on this broadcast. And if you're not a tattooer and you just love tattoos, go to Tattoonow and vote for your favorites and see if you can get them here on the show. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Artisan, Waterloo, and Neotat. They're always great. And, of course, the Paradise Artist Retreat. I'd like to thank my guests, Joe King, Cory Ferguson, and Hanu Mantra. You guys were great. You're welcome back on the show anytime. And I really enjoyed chatting with you this evening. In our next show, we'll be talking with Josh Duffy and hopefully Dur Morrison. That's bound to be a good show. We'll talk all things Hell City, dark, evil, black and gray. Probably talk a little bit about some metal, one of my favorite topics. Josh is a pretty rad dude. I want to give a little quick shout out to the different folks that are watching. We've got people watching from Venezuela, Northern California, Las Vegas, Colorado, Connecticut, Alaska, New York City, Minneapolis, Virginia Beach, Cleveland, Middleborough, Massachusetts, which is where my aunt lives. So if you're watching, Catherine, thank you. San Diego, Central Coast, California, and Caracas. Isn't that in Venezuela? I believe it is. My geography is not so great. So if you haven't entered already, get yourself into the Paradise Artist Retreat contest. And thanks again for watching. We will see you in 2 weeks with Josh Duffy and hopefully Derb Morrison. If not, I'm sure we'll have a stellar guest. We'll have more Tattoo Now network news and, of course, the Tattoo of the Day strip. I hope you enjoyed all of this. I know I did. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Go out there, subscribe to our channel, tell all your friends about this awesomeness, subscribe to our podcast, comment, tell us what you want to see, tell us what you're sick of seeing, and tell us how we're doing. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed these credits.
I don't remember.
Are you talking to me? Let it ring till morning. Give me one more night. I'll get my own word.